Hi, today I'm doing my book report on Summerhill, a radical approach to child rearing. Summerhill is basically a school set up as a campus. It was ran by A.S. Neal, and it has been described by many different people as being unusual because of the free spirited and because of the free will of the kids and because of the kids having control over what they do. Um, it is a campus that houses kids from the ages of 5 to 18. The kids go to school on campus. The kids have lunch on campus. They have a cafeteria where they eat lunch, dinner, and breakfast. They also have cottages, which houses the younger kids, the middle-aged kids, and the older kids. Each cottage can range. Each cottage can approximately hold up to 28 to 30 kids, including two house parents. Let's look at the Summerhill education program or lack thereof, which was very interesting to me. In this particular section, they pretty much gave a depiction of Summerhill's education. Basically, Summerhill um, falls into the noddings philosophy because it does have content areas such as math, English, language arts, reading, science, social studies. Um, but however, for the young kids, it falls into Alice philosophy because they keep all those kids on one level. Everybody's grouped together. There's not high, middle, or low level. Everybody's on the same level, receiving the same education. Whereas too with the older kids, they would fall under the progressive education, and which means that they basically whatever curriculum or whatever content they're interested in, that's what they choose. That's what they do. That's the content area that they explore. However, the difference with this is that because they have their own because they make their own decisions and their own choices. If a child chooses not to go to class, or if a child chooses that they don't want to do a particular lesson, then they're not forced to do that lesson. Versus with us, everything is done with a guideline and with a standard. And each kid has to meet, or each kid has to show that they have a general understanding of that particular standard. Versus with Summerhill, they don't have to do that. Another particular section that I love so deeply, I love was child rearing, and basically it had three different things that stood out to me, which was love and approval, lying, obedience, and discipline. Basically, with love and approval, Neil was just basically saying that anytime you give a child love and approval, they tend to go above and beyond their expectation as well as your expectations. That kid's confidence rises to another level and their self-esteem takes off. However, he came back to a point of lying and how lying was a part can be a character trait of a parent which has now rubbed off on a child. Pretty much he gave the example of a parent and a child scenario. The child asks the parent a question. Instead of the parent telling the child the truth, the parent tells a lie, in which sometimes people may say, oh, it's just a little white lie. A lie is a lie to me. So in terms, this parent never tells the kid the truth, or tells the kid the truth sometimes, but in essence, what that is doing, it is setting a trend or a pattern for that child to follow. So now when that child has been asked, okay, did you do X, Y, and Z, or did you do this? That child's going to come up and lie versus telling the truth. And now we have a pattern because the parent did it. Now the child is doing it. So he sees that as a major problem. He sees it as the parent being the bigger influencer on the child and causing the child to not be influenced in the right direction. The next one was obedience and discipline. Pretty much his philosophy is that, okay, I give my child free will. He gives an example of his child. His child says, Dad, I don't want you to come in my room, and she slams the door. Okay, typically, number one, with us, a child slamming the door, okay, that's ground for just absolutely, okay, we taking the doors off the hinges and you won't even have a door, period. But he sees it as if you give a child free will, then the obedience will follow. But he tried to tie it into, tried to tie it into the Bible, in which I did not quite get or understand, but I did find a scripture. And if you have time, you can read the scripture. It's Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 through 3, which basically gives an outline of obedience and discipline for our kids. Religion and morals. Oh my God, he did a bang up. I don't want to call it bang up as in good, but the way he described religion and morals, oh my gosh, guys, it made you look and think, okay, what are we doing with our kids? He gave the example of how religion leads to moral instruction and how it influences the kids, and how swearing and cursing, it also influences the kid. So basically, with the moral and the influencing, it depicted, he used like different situations, such as masturbation, or such as smoking, or such as a child touching another child, which in lieu, he said he's never had a problem with it because the kids don't know about it, but while they were at their homes, the parents would totally scold them and discipline them and say, that's not right, you shouldn't be doing this. And you had even some parents to even, the religious parents, they even say, God's going to get you, he's going to destroy, just crazy scenarios. But in light and in view of it, the Bible actually does speak of moral, things being, as God would call it, sin. God hates sin, but he does not hate the people. He loves people. He just hates the sin. So with that being said, there's a scripture that comes to mind, which is Proverbs 22:6, which says, train up a child in the way that it should go, teaching him to seek God's wisdom and will for his abilities and talents. Even when he's old, he will not depart from it. The last section is children and parent problems. He basically talks about cruelty and sadism, which leads to criminality, delinquency, and ultimately it leads to trying to cure the child, which would lead to the road to happiness. Basically, in this section, he describes cruelty as perverted love, and that's why sadism is always perverted sexually. Okay, so the cruel person cannot give because giving is a love action. So when a person that is cruel try to give, they can't give because he basically says that it takes love to give. Okay, so he also says with that, of course, it develops into a criminal mindset, which causes the kids to think, bad thoughts, evil thoughts of hurting someone or trying to hurt something or somebody, which leads into a delinquency, a child either going to jail or having a criminal background. He's like, the only way to actually cure this child is by taking the child to therapy and allowing that kid to process his emotions, his thoughts, his feelings. And once he has learned how to process those emotions and thoughts and feelings, then now we're on our road to happiness, now we're on this road to being successful. Now we're on this road, this right path. One of the problems that the parents, he saw that the parents have, and I took away because it's so true. It's power and authority. Power and authority, pretty much says, hey, it says it is when a parent dominates a child or literally control a child to make that child do, what that parent wouldn't do. And guys, that is a way to literally push your child away. Again, I went back and referenced the Bible, which is Ephesians 6:4. And it says, Father, do not provoke your children to anger. Do not exasperate them to the point of resentment with demands that are trivial or unreasonable or humiliating or abusive, nor by showing favoritism or indifference to any of them, but bring them up tenderly with loving kindness in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. So if we follow that particular scripture, raising our kids in the admiration of God and in the fear of God and in the tender and loving kindness that He has shown towards us, then we won't have any problem. Guys, I think this is a great read during your spare time. Check it out. It will cause you to think, look at some things in a different light. So thanks for your time. Have a great day.